Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another day, another week of 30 NSG. On today's show, we're going to be talking about Diablo once again. There's been a post that was posted on the Blizzard forums about 2 days ago, June 24th. It's a very long, lengthy post, and I want to go over it. Now, I have over 130 hours into this game. I have a druid that's level 74. I have other characters as well, below 20. I've enjoyed it pretty much every single moment that I've played with Diablo, besides the disconnects, the little rubber banding that goes on, and the many, many, many things that have issues with inside of Diablo. Now, about a week ago, we talked about this, about the problems with Diablo 4, but now this person does a nice long post. Now, this person, is their thoughts, their opinions. I just happen to see a lot of the stuff and agree with a lot of stuff because I've seen it myself as well. This doesn't mean the game is terrible and bad in any way, shape, or form. It also doesn't mean it's fantastic and perfect in any way, shape, or form. So we're going to have a conversation about the problems inside based off of this one post. So let's bring it up. What's going on, chat? What's going on, Travis, Kylo, Dave Rose, Jesse Mack, Magic, Boss? What's going on, everybody? So let's bring it up here. I made it nice and big so you guys can see. Maybe I'll make it even bigger so we can break it down even more. Okay, so this is off of the Blizzard forums. It says, I'm out too. Done with Blizzard. Now, this might be going a little bit overboard for certain people, but hey, each their own. If a person doesn't want to play the game anymore because, well, he already hit level 99 and he has multiple other characters, so he's already burnt out and moved. But that's not the point of this talk that we're going to be doing this morning. We're talking about it because he brings up glaring issues with Blizzard, and I've said in the past that before the game even came out that I didn't like the leveling system where it scales with you. I didn't like the respec system. I thought it was dumb. There's just lots of little things that I said that was going to have a problem with this game way before we even did the beta test, way before we did the closed beta, the open beta, the server slam test, and when it launched. Okay, even before our good friend Reforged Gaming talked about how that you're going to have to level 41 characters, and everyone is super surprised that you had to make a new character for each season, right? And there's a lot of pushback going on right now as far as the battle pass, not the so-called make all the different characters, but the actual battle pass not being able to do it, right? So, like, right now, I've made a point last week, like, this game, or 2 weeks ago, actually, right? This game was actually not ready. It wasn't ready to come out. And we're basically in the beta test right now, hence why all the nerfs, hence why all the disables that they've done in the past 3 weeks. So let's get to it right here, and let's break it down. So he says, I hit level 99, but I can't play this anymore. It's so boring running the same nightmare dungeons over and over again, and such poor density, okay, and awful experience gains. I pushed as hard as I could, as I was with Blizzard's last chance with me, and as I think they're all other games now suck, and I want to give this a real fair shot. Now, I think he's seen the wizard behind the curtain, as I use my analogy all the time, right? He says, no looking for a group system, pretty much number one in my list. I seriously can't believe that this was not at launch enforced online game, okay? Nice try with the Diablo 4 Discord. No one wants to go outside of the game to find a group. This blows my mind, okay? I actually made a passing remark to Brain when we were playing. I said, I can't believe there's not group ups for dungeons and stuff. And he said that would kind of ruin it because of the matchmaking, because there's so many dungeons. But then I look at this and go, in Diablo Immortal, which I know is a mobile game, every time you joined a dungeon, every single time you joined a dungeon, you could do a group matchmaking thing, right? Which is mind-blowing to me, because here you are with the regular game of Diablo 4 that took so long, okay, to come out over the years that they were working on it, and yet there's no find party system, which is the best way to level up. Now, I understand that Diablo 4 is really a single-player game, but let's all be fair. You're not level 100, and if you are level 100, you didn't do it solo. You did it with a group of people in a dungeon by doing something over and over and over and over and over again, okay? So he says there's no reliable in-game chat system. Again, I can't think of another forced online game that doesn't have this. Even Diablo 3 had this. Heck, you could even form your own communities and chat in that game talking about regressing. Now, I've made these points not just with Diablo, but I've made this with games in the past on any game system, right? I've said if you come out with a sequel to a game and you take out features that you had in the first game that were really good features, it's going backwards why you don't hit the bar that you've set for the last game, right? If something had and I always use like a Madden for this, right? Madden football had the cone of vision, right, for the quarterback. And then after the cone of vision, they took the cone of vision out. And then they put something else in. And then 5 years later, they put the cone of vision back in, and then they sell it to you as it's a good idea. And you're like, it was a good idea way back when. Why did you take it out of the game? It should have been in the game and then add to the thing. This is what you call obsolescence, right? They take it out, manufactured obsolescence. They do it on purpose so they can give you the hype or sell you whatever it is to make you feel like they're listening to you and making things better. All right, let me read chat a little bit here. Good morning, Mike. What's going on? Actually, what's good about it? So Magic says, actually, I don't know what's so good about it. Boss says it's perfect. He says it's good. Did you say it's perfect? I don't think you said it's perfect. Let's see here. Seasons being an absolutely lazy way to be players coming back. I don't think the seasons are the problem. I don't think the seasons are the problem. I think the way they're doing seasons, Travis, could be the problem. Travis, thank you very much for the members for 4 months. I mean, seasons just lazy idea in general to me. Oh, let's just make a run special events instead of something to value. They actually have other stuff. See, here's one thing that I don't understand from your aspect, Travis. You're not playing the game, so you don't really know. You're only reading the outside of the stuff. They're adding a lot more stuff in Seasons, and Seasons is not even out yet. So to criticize what Seasons is, if it's bad or good, is moot, right? I can't tell you if Seasons are going to be bad based on what they are. We don't even know what Seasons are yet. Okay. Dave Rose says, seems to be a lot of people are getting bored with the already not good thing that the game hasn't been out that long. It's been out for 3 weeks. Yep. They had that in Discord. You shouldn't have to leave a game to go find a party, boss. The actual group finding mechanism should be in the actual game. I'll give shit to all games all day long, especially Destiny back in the day where you had to read the story on a third-party site and you couldn't actually do what you wanted to do on the actual game itself. That is bad game design. Travis says, Dave Rose, yep, hell, even friend who has Diablo 4 is just a filler to get him to Final Fantasy 16 comes out, and very telling. What's going on first? They're doing the opposite thing with players don't want. Boss says, Cone Vision sucked anyway. Not the point. Doesn't matter if it sucked or not. That's why they put it back in the game, so that would say you're wrong on that. That's why they put it back in the game multiple times. I've been back to addicted to Destiny 2. I'm going to get the season done in Destiny, and I hope by the time I get Diablo better later in July. All right, let me go back. Morning, Winter Rose. It says, no revival game chat. We already passed that. Loot drops are exact same from level 70 to 100. Now, I am level 74. I hit my best gear. I was very lucky and got it around like 61. I was overpowered at a certain point. I'm at that point again at 74. I probably want to find a better piece of gear until I get to like 85, probably. It says the item quality is not different between normal and nightmare dungeons, despite Blizzard claiming it is. It to be tested with 100 plus normal and nightmares, and I've ran normal dungeons that spit out 20 ancestral items and nightmare dungeons like Blind Borrowers and Sigil 60, and gotten half of that. That's not one of the. That's not one-off run either. That's very consistent. I also saw another YouTuber talk about this as well. He says the best way to run certain things is literally just regular nightmare or not nightmare dungeons, just regular dungeons. He was getting more ancestral stuff off the capstone. Okay, off the capstone. What they would do is they would go on the capstone, back out of the capstone, go back in the capstone, back out of the capstone, and they were getting more ancestral stuff in the regular capstone dungeon than they were doing in any other kind of dungeon. Okay. He says world bosses take 6 hours to respawn and die in about 10 to 30 seconds in World Tier 4. Their weekly cash honestly gives less loot and replenish chest and no obols out of them. Why? Okay, this is also true, right? It's so random how to get the world bosses, but they limit you to the world boss. And then when the world boss does come in, I literally killed one the other day with a group of people. It was a World Tier 4. I'm level 73, I think, at the time. We killed it in 45 seconds. 45 seconds. And then you have to wait 6 hours for it. And the loot that came out of there wasn't very good. And that was my first one for the week. The Tree of Whispers turns in, also gives the next to nothing for loot. It's good for the first 5 to 10 times you do it and get something sigil keys. After that, completely worthless. Again, no obols. Okay. This system is basically copy pasta from Diablo 3, though even the game had specific crafting resources and specific items out of the bounty chests. He goes on to say class imbalance all over the place, mixed with an awful resource management. 3 classes can melt echoes of Lilith in 30 seconds, while the other one takes 10 minutes and well put together gear set. Nice internal testing there. So what he's talking about here, I don't think he did this himself. Maybe he did, okay? But the Echoes of Lilith is the final boss at level 100. Supposed to be really hard. There's people out there that are melting it with 3 of the different classes. And then when they use another class, it takes, exaggeration, like an hour, right? Unless you have these certain perfect sets of gear. But 3 of the 5 classes melt it within a minute and 2. And everybody else, or the other 2 classes, take a really long time. Okay. He says, why do white and blue items still exist in World Tier 3 and 4, especially on the vendors? No one is even going to buy blue items off the vendor. Heck, most of the time they ignore the sacred items as well. I mean, come on. So I've said this, not only in this game, I've talked about it in Destiny, I've talked about it in Division, I've talked about it in any other looter shooter that I've played on this system. Why do you keep dropping whites and greens? It's because there's not enough gear in the game, and they have to have the whole pool system to drop for you, so you feel like you're not wasting your time, but you are wasting your time because the amount of gear that you need, or the chance that you get, even if you get a sacred drop or a legacy drop or whatever kind of drop you're looking for, 9 times out of 10, hell, 9.9 times out of 10, it's garbage. And when you do find the one that you get, you might be super lucky, and it might go up just a couple of points, and then you're good to go for the next 10 levels. But then you're wasting your time in the next 10 levels, okay? This is not even including the really, really rare gear that they talked about, okay, which I don't know if he brings up here. If he doesn't, we'll bring it up after this is done. He says there's no crafting system, which Diablo 3 had this. No way to preview rerolls. Diablo 3 had this. No gem tab. Yes, I know. It's being fixed, but it should have been added into the game a year ago before it was even a beta tested. Absolutely. But here's the crux of the actual discussion, I think, for this particular topic. The reason they don't have it is because they're going to sell it to you. In one way, shape, or form, I guarantee you they're either going to monetize it by charging you actual money, or they're going to put it inside the actual pass to let you grind for it to get it up there, because they want you to have more time in the game. So before you can get another stash, it'll probably be like another 50 hours before you can actually get the next thing. Okay. He says, in the year ago before it even was tested, is now being added only because the player base is teaching the developers what to include in 2023 game. I push back on this. We're not teaching the devs anything. Don't make you think 1 second that you're suggesting to put a stash tab in that they didn't know what they were doing. They know exactly what they're doing, and this is planned obsolescence, okay? Right? Make a problem, sell the solution. Stash space is awful, considering the loot system you went with requires you to save gear in the stash. Because the affixed storage tab is so small, I have 9 ults filled with gear in the inventory in the event I wanted to mess around with other builds for one class I played. I can't imagine what I'd do if I tried other classes. He's talking about the stash, right? The stashes are terrible. And he's got 9 alt characters as mules to hold the stuff because, you know, that's what you got to do. That is a bad mechanic as well. Elemental resistance stats are just completely worthless. I'm not exactly sure how you went through so many beta tests and didn't even realize this. In fact, once again, you found out from a player base 2 weeks ago that they had publicly acknowledged it, and it's going to take you 2 seasons to fix it. You might as well just take the resistance out of the game for now, or make them combine into a plus to all resistances. I guess they're all just take up gear stat slots for the next 4 months, or you can get 2 resistance on a single item. It's pretty much an auto vendor. Yeah, the resistance in this game is absolutely broke. It doesn't take any effect of what it is. You can have a 54% or 56% or whatever percent. It only does 2. Okay, so it doesn't really matter. He says there's no full reset button on the Paragon board. I guess the devs are still living in the 1990s. It's very clear that whenever they reset their Paragon boards during the internal testing, they just use God mode command to clear it instead of doing it how it is to do it now. That's pretty funny. Yeah, because to reset a Paragon board, you have to go back individually to do it. That is just ridiculous. Okay? How in 2023, where games literally put a little button there, in other games. This is not the first ARPG ever, right? That they put a button to reset your whole board if you want to. Hell, they even do it in their own game for the skill tree. You can tap or hold, and it resets the stuff. But yet they don't do that for the Paragon system, for the board. Kind of strange. Okay. Middle sections of the dungeons, the intermission, give no loot or experience. Again, not sure how this was missed after multiple beta tests. He says, and finally, the lack of innovation. The Blizzard wants Reddit and their forums to not be plagued with disappointed players when it seriously needed to have their developers actually play video games. And that's not meant as an attack on them. Everyone has hoping that they would make a game that included the industry standards and even innovate on the top of that and crush everyone else to make Path of Exile, Torchlight, Epoch, and everyone else go, uh-oh, we have work to do, and watch them sweat. You didn't do that at all. In fact, you're not even close. Those other companies are laughing in their offices right now. This is an example of innovation. Could be a deep delve dungeon into the hell of branches off through 3 different primeval areas. And the deeper you go, the more rewards you find. And the deeper you and the more corruption you receive from the specific prime of evil and the effects on you. Remember that the door that Lilith opened, that you thought would be a good idea to close, it could have started here. Oops. Now, I like his little suggestion here, right? Obviously, the innovation, right? When games come before you, you're motivated to make a better game than them. But they don't need to because they're Blizzard, because they're Diablo. It's a very well-known franchise, and they could just do the bare minimum and get by because people will come to their defense and say, this is the best game ever. I'm pretty sure there's people in chat saying that right now, and it's not. It's far off from being the best game ever. Right now, there's actually no reason to play this game up until Season 1, okay? Why? Why play it right now when the character that you're making, you can go through the season, and then you have to go through the renown again. Yes, they're giving you the renown, but you still have to go to all the little statues to get the little statues to level up your character. You still have to go to all the cities to unlock the travel points, okay? They'll show you the markers on the thing. Yes, they're giving you the renown, but if you haven't tried Diablo yet, and you're thinking about buying it, wait till after Season 1 comes out, okay? Or maybe they'll be on sale, because you could start the season, then do the campaign, and then do all the renown, and your character will be actually better because now you're doubling up. Your XP is going up much faster than right now in the game, okay? Because inside the season itself, there's things to do where you get these ashes, then you go onto the battle pass and unlock certain things to get XP bonuses for your gold, XP bonuses for your elixirs, XP bonus for your XP, right? There's all of these things that'll help you get by to get much faster upgraded than it does right now inside the beta test, right? Diablo beta test is happening right now up until Season 1 because there's really no reason to play Diablo, and I put in 135 hours inside the game, okay? He says, our system to enter the havens is steal their artifacts. You have time to limit to get in and out, maybe recipes that unlock or drop only potions or elixirs that give 10% experience instead of 5, or an item that allows legendaries to be imprinted a second time, you know, heavenly stuff. Or with the Helltide having a portal open and you enter into the fight hell back. Maybe Adrenaline show up instead, and what's the boss's names and walks around? Looks like Gollum. Meh, who cares? Or what about a battle between hell and heaven? Throw us right into the eternal conflict at the game and won't ever shut up about, and kind of like League of Legends. Now, what he's saying here, I'm going to kind of skip this because we don't know what they have in the future. Maybe they are going to have stuff like this in the future, but that's not happening right now. Okay? He says, just sat here for 10 minutes spitballing for 4 random ideas, and I suck at this, and I'm sure somewhere could take them and make them into even better. Instead, we receive poor Destiny Helltides, a copy pasta bounty system, a nightmare dungeon, which are basically greater rifts with objectives, no innovation. And not only did you hardly come up with any new, fresh, or fun ideas that would last longer than a week, you couldn't even make a game that included the most basic industry standard expectations, something as simple as a global chat and LFG system, so that your players on your forced online game can communicate and play together. This is like going into a dealership and buying a new car in 2023 car, and it's missing a cup holders or power windows or windshield wipers. I guess, sure. Things would also expect to be included. And you were miserably failed so hard with that it left no room for innovation. All you're doing is adding things into the game that should have been in the months ago, and while your audience teaches you what to do. No wonder you went through the 3 game directors during development. It's true. Facts. Some players will also say, be patient. It's barely been out. This right here, I think, is just funny. The fact that customers, and look, I'm enjoying the game myself, but I can see the glaring problems with the game. But to sit here and say that the game is fine is the problem, because they had a better game in the past, and then they did the bare minimum to make a good game because you're craving for stuff, right? It's like when you buy a new computer or a new something, you want to rip it open because you're so excited to have it, and then you kind of put the glares off to the side because you're like, no, I'm having fun, so there's no problems with the game. But obviously there is problems with this game, major problems with this game, and then they'll sell it to you, or over the seasons, we'll fix the game. There's no difference between what Activision Blizzard is doing with this game and what EA DICE is doing with Battlefield 2042. Release the game, fix it over time, and then want people to pat you on the back and applaud you when you fix the game 18 months later. Regardless if seasons are coming out or not, it's not the full experience, right? You can go back to No Man's Sky. No Man's Sky was not the game that it is today. Yes, it is better. Fallout 76 is not the game it is today. It was shit when it came out. Cyberpunk was not the game it is today because it was shit when it came out, right? There's all these games that come out and over seasons or DLC over time, they fix the game as they go. Okay? He says, so some players say the patience had barely been out, etc. That's like your point of view. That's fine. Have low expectations and stick around for 1 to 3 years until the game is ready to be competitive with other games. This game has been in development for 8 years, and I don't think it's been in development for 8 years. I think we're going to go through, right? Release the game at 3 or 4, and then fix it over the next 3 years to say it's been over 8 years. I don't think they do the full 8 years development. Competitive with other games. This game has also been in development for 8 years, and it's also personally expected to be a lot more out of it. I don't mind broken things that need to be fixed. That comes with the new releases. But the philosophy of this game is how they empty it and shows that the developers are completely behind the curve and from the other companies. He says, no, I will not see in Season 1 or 5 or 9. I'm done with Blizzard. And this is just him going off that he's just done with the thing. And, of course, what do you think the first reply is, well, good. Well, we won't miss you. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. But he's just a frustrated fan that's like, dude, I bought this game. I love it. I leveled up to level 99, right? He's got level 99, and he wants it to be good. But there's glaring problems with this game. All right? Let me go back up to chat. Let me see what you guys are saying. Magic Dolphin says, I've been back. Addicted, already read that one. Travis says 30. I'm still paying attention just because I want to even, if I don't like the game, it can still be influence games. I like moving forward, so I got to pay attention to do everything, in my opinion. What's going on, Wonder Rose? Already said that. Is it in there today? I rest my case. Is what in there today? Cone Vision sucked anyway. Is it in there today? No, you're proving my point exactly the same, boss. They put it in, they take it out, they put it back in, they take it back out. So I'm sure the Cone of Vision will be back in the game at some point. So your point is proving my point, that they put a thing in the game and then they remove it from the game. Regardless if it sucks or not, they put it in, take it out, put it back in. Yeah, there's no reason to run Nightmare Dungeons right now other than doing Nightmare Dungeon 3 levels above you. Even then, it's not really, there's really no point to do it anyway. It's going to be life-changing. Brain says, I killed World Boss and only gotten sacred drops, no legendaries, no ancestral. Yeah, I stopped doing them, Brain. I killed three guys, 3 world bosses. We kill them so fast, and I get nothing from them. And I have to wait 6 hours for them to come back around. Current builds are OP and other builds. Well, right now, Jesse, it's just about the meta build. That's basically it. And why, once we hit item level, there's also, we continue getting gear 200 item levels below me. It wasn't a broad range while leveling. I'm talking about 725 threshold onward. Oh yeah, Brain. And this is one of the things I'm talking about, evolving the game. Okay, other looters did this, right? Remember when we played Destiny and gear would drop? You're like, why is this gear dropping when I'm not even in close to this? Because they don't have enough weapons, they don't have enough armor, they don't have enough things, so they have to put them in the pool with other things. Destiny finally caught onto that 30. Only blues after a while, and then only legendaries after that. Right, Magic? Because that's the way it should be. Because you're going through a slot machine of drops, and if there's 100 items of just yellows, There's 100 items of blue and stuff and green and purples. Now you're going through 500 items. So when you do one mission, it takes you 15 minutes or 30 minutes, and 3 weapons drop. Okay, great. You have a 1 in a million chance to get whatever it is. Okay? And it's just dumb. Where they could drop you all golds, and they might not have the things, but you might feel like, oh, there's a chance that I might use it. There's a chance. They said they were making gems like resources, raw materials, letter, word, etc. Sure. He said that in the actual thing. He says they are fixing it. He's clearly hoarding. But regardless of hoarding, there's only 4 stashes. I'm not hoarding. My gems are completely full in 1 stash. Complete, maxed. I had to upgrade them just so I could make more room for more gems. He's not finding 9 characters full of good stuff. If you listen to what I read to you, boss, he said that has 9 characters because he has gear that's dropping that if he wants to make a different build or a different character, hence why he has 9 characters. Hell, on days I'm off, I live on the Diablo and full my inventory up as fast as possible in PvP, and the odds are finding the rolls or something that catches my eye is pretty damn low. That's a problem. That's not the carrot of the stick. That's a problem. Even in Diablo 3, it took me 7 characters and thousands of hours to have problems with my tabs. Diablo 4 is the same way because I know what's good and not. Yeah, but it shouldn't be like this in the very beginning before. If they should give you more stash tabs. If it costs me 400,000, 500,000, 600,000, a million tabs, I should be able to put those tabs. Not 4 tabs across all my characters. I'll tell you it's a great game. Sure. Again, I've played for 135 hours, but to say that it's a great game with no problems, you're delusional. It's been ways since Diablo 2 in early 2000s, a decade ago. Seasons weren't in Diablo 3 at the beginning. Right? They added it to make the game better. That wasn't back in the old Diablos. They added that later. So now they're adding a battle pass to Diablo 4, which is different than what was in Diablo 3. Like, games evolve. They do change. To have this mentality of this is how it is just not credible. They change stuff all the time as far as what a game should be and evolve over time. The guy must be a new player. It's a Blizzard Forums or what? That guy must be a new player. Is this Blizzard Forums? Yes, it is Blizzard Forums. And he's got 260 posts. And it's been looked at. It's been looked at 16,000 views and 793 replies. Eternal Conflict is paused right now. Why we fixed the damn Soulstone. Yeah, they've disabled a lot of stuff in the game. That's because it's perfect, right? They disabled stuff and nerfed stuff because it's perfect. It's a perfect game. This is why they fixed it. Looks you dead in the eyes. Game us flawless. Come on, Fate Walker. They all come bare bone and add more as time goes. That's a problem, boss. That's not a solution. That's a problem. These are problems, but this guy is off base significantly because he's a new player and doesn't know Diablo lore. How do you know he's a new player? Akuta Papa. How do you know he's a new player? I don't remember reading anything in here saying that, hey, I'm new to your game. How do you know he's a new player? Sort of huge influx of new players to the genre, and they all think know how it should play. No, this person's not saying how it should play. He's saying the problems and flaws with the game. Even the people that are long time, I've watched tons of videos this weekend, tons of videos with hardcore people that have been playing Diablo for 15, 20 years. They played all the Diablos, and they're all saying the same thing as this guy that you guys are calling a new player. The loot system in general is strange. I got an ancestral unique from a random enemy out in the world, not doing a dungeon or even an event, just roaming the world. Yeah, I got my best piece of gear, Kylo, from a chest. Not a major chest, not a locked chest, just a regular chest that I came across. I opened it, and I got my best weapon out of that chest. You also get gaslighting articles like Tassie talking about the rarity of top 6 uniques. Yeah, but he's not gaslighting it. He's literally talking about it because the devs came out with their own tweet about it. And then they said that only 2 people in the world have it. And then people did the math about basically on the amount of hours that are being played. And if it's 1 out of 5 million hours played, you, me, and anyone else is never going to see that piece of gear, especially if you're playing in a season where it resets every 12 weeks. There's no way you're going to see it. You would have to play years to maybe see it, right? And I don't think people are asking that it needs to drop like every 10th drop, but 1 in every 5 million hours? That's insane. Someone that's played the game for hundreds and hundreds of hours, has multiple hundred characters, has not ever seen it. Not one. Seasons have been in all Diablos. False. They were added to all Diablos afterwards. Seasons are not being a real problem here. Right. This is not about seasons. We're not talking about seasons. We're talking about other things. I have more feedback after season 1. I want to see what they do. Did Diablo have DDoS happen this weekend? Yes, it did, Super Dave. Why not just start with season 1 instead of this? This is exactly my point, Fate. I said it 2 weeks ago. I was like, why even play? Why even play the game right now? Right now is the beta. And the reason I say it's a beta is because they've already made super changes to the game and balancing issues before the season 1s come out. They've disabled multiple things because they were broke, meaning they weren't tested, right? They've done so many different things to this game already, okay? This is why it's the beta, to freshen it up before season 1, hence why they made season 1 6 weeks after the game comes out. Biggest catch was that he doesn't know the lore from previous games. The whole internal conflict comment was the biggest red flag there. Are you and Sarge going to talk about Destiny 2 microtransaction shitstorm? We are not, B. Destiny 2 is dead to me. Been dead to me for about 2.5 years. 30, do you think this will be the downfall of D4? No, not in any way, shape, or form. I think it all depends what you're talking about the downfall, Jesse. Are you talking about like the downfall for the casuals? Because I literally saw this before the game even came out. Before the game even launched, I said that the casuals will drop off after the campaign, okay? Because this is what happened with Borderlands. This is what happened with Destiny. This is what happened to Destiny 2. This is what happened to Division. This happened to Division 2. The majority of the casuals that play the game don't even beat the campaign, or they play the campaign, beat the campaign, and move on. So do I think it'll be the downfall of D4? No, Rome's not burning down. Go on, Hilly. There's no Destiny microtransaction shitstorm. It's just because Azzacross made one video. There is a microtransaction shitstorm that's been there for years, Magic. You're being complacent if you don't think there's a problem with the microtransactions in Destiny. That's another story for another day that I won't talk about. Let's go on, Tiny 2. Good morning. I've been pretty much got bored with the loot grind in Diablo 4. I'm just doing the renowned grind in Season 1. That's it. That's what I'm doing right now, Tiny. I'm going around doing all the dungeons. I'm almost completely... I have very little left on Region 3 and 4, and then I'm almost completely done. I just got sucked back into playing Division 4 decent mode. Oh, Descent mode. Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. I don't really like it too much myself, Tiny, but I think it's an interesting mode that they put in. But it has become a microtransaction hell. Like he said it would. Oh, like I said. Like, yeah, like we said. 100%, Sarge. What's the campaign playthrough rate right now? It's less than 20%. I posted something in Discord the other day. I think it was like 26%. I think it was a 26% on... Hold on, I posted something. Where is it? Yeah, 26.34%. And I posted that on the 21st. So 5 days ago, it was 26.34%. I can look it up again on the achievement list and see what it is now. And I believe it's less than that on the PlayStation. And obviously, I don't think there's anything like that on the PC to look it up. But even I think there was a tweet out that even the developers came out and said that there's less than 25% of the player base has completed the campaign. B says, Lono foreshadowed all of this D4 stuff. Looking back at your and Lono's discussion, incredible. Yeah. Yeah, you know why that is, B? Because we're not idiots. We take what was done before, and history repeats itself. So we make good conversation based on other things that happened in the past with other games that are just like this. Okay? So to say this, it's not like we're saying this to be like, I told you so, but it is. It is. We told you so. But people don't care. The people that argue against us, they don't care. They're going to play the game regardless. They're going to poke their finger in their eye, and their eye is going to hurt, but they're going to keep doing it because they enjoy it. Right? Right? And that's not just talking about D4. That's just in general. When we say something and they're like, you just hate it. You just don't know what you're talking about. And yet, ta-da! Hence why I have the psychic emote with the third eye like Doctor Strange. I disagree with the microtransaction in Destiny. I buy the $100 a year thing, and JS doesn't even buy anything else, so I'm not seeing it. Magic, you can't say... You're just blinded by it then, dude. Like, if you're paying the $100, then enjoy. But you can't say that microtransactions are not running rampant in Destiny. Considering they said that everyone blamed Activision when they were with them why the Eververse store was there. And then since then, okay, Bungie doubled and tripled down on microtransactions. This is not... I'm not even going to continue with this conversation because it's 100% facts, okay? 100% facts that Destiny is a microtransaction problem, but the people that love it are going to love it, and you're not going to see it. That's fine. When you're in a bad relationship, especially with your stripper ex-girlfriend, you're never going to see a problem because she's hot as fuck. It's not pay to win. Hey, all right. You can continue talking about Destiny, but I will not comment about anything because it's like talking to a wall. Yeah, it says just hardcore Diablo players are moving back to Diablo 2. Yikes. Yeah, imagine that, Tiny. Imagine that. A game that's 20 years old. And people are like, yeah, you know what? They want their time respected. Oh, joys of live service games and greed. Right, Quintar? I still play and have lots of fun, love for Destiny, but microtransactions are a problem, and they will get worse. Kyle says, the fact that I can't even finish Destiny 2 without having the most recent DLC is insane. Fishing. Yeah, fishing. She beats me, but I love her. As long as you can admit that, that's fine. I'm not saying D4 is perfect. It needs some work. It needs a lot of work, Akuda. It needs a lot of work. And you're coming from a place that you love Diablo because you played so much time in the D2 and D3 that you're not seeing the problems because you don't think there's that many problems. But there's a lot of problems with this game. This game shouldn't have launched, and it did launch, and it's in beta form right now. That's my opinion. Did people forget you predicted 95% of what would happen in Obi-Wan Kenobi D+ show from the trailers? I didn't. Pepperidge Farm remembers, DJ. Pepperidge Farm remembers. They just gotta keep the lights on. That's right, Cujo. She's hot as fuck. That's right. But in reality, she's just dumb until they realize she's dumb. I mean, you guys can preach it, right? Destiny 2, this is why my analogy always worked for the last 9 years. Hot stripper ex-girlfriend named Destiny, right? Major issues. She's got dad issues. Goddamn, she's hot. Let's look at the comment section here, right? Because obviously, there'll be here first comment. One down, several thousand more to go. The millions enjoying the fact that it's not D1, D2, D3, or Path of Exile will not miss you. It's so funny. They don't understand that when people have criticism for something, it's because they love it and they wanted to see it get better. Those that absolutely fall head over heels for their game don't see any problems. Don't see any problems. I imagine 30 laying in bed at night and his wife's talking about Destiny 2 and Diablo 4. And I told him so. I don't, B. I don't say anything. I don't say anything. I don't say anything. I say what I say. People remember, if you're here and you saw me say it, you saw me say it. If not, very few that I go, I warned you, but it's not as like I told you so. It's I bring it up because it's almost like a credibility type thing where I said it, it happens, ta-da, right? That's it. I don't write articles. I don't have an outlet as a blog or anything for people to read, right? It's just, if you're here, you're here. If you're not, you're not. If you heard me say it, you heard me say it, right? I know I'm literally a minuscule, like, internet personality that nobody knows about. There's someone that has 100 million followers that I've never even heard of. I know that no one's heard of me. I was pretty upset I paid $90 for the game. I couldn't play on Sunday morning. Make an offline mode, please. The reason it's not offline, the reason that it's online all the time, the reason is because it's microtransactions. The small chance that you might see someone with a cool outfit while you're running around the world is the reason that a lot of this stuff is happening in this game. The more time you play in the game, there's that chance, right? For every 10 minutes you play the game, there's that chance that you might go to the microtransaction store. There's that chance that you might buy the battle pass. There's that chance that you might, right? That's what it's for. Hey, I know a real stripper named Destiny. Hey, so do I. Or I used to anyway. Probably dead. For a beta with tons of problems, sure, it's making a lot of money. And has a huge player base. It's perfect. Not sure it needs work, but it's not bad. Well, no, that's a great point, boss, right? Let's just say it was a beta. It's already made over $1 billion. They don't really care, right? They don't really care. If you're casual or hardcore, you've already paid your 60 or 70, 80, 90, $120. They don't care. If you don't like it, you stop playing the game. If you like it, you're going to keep playing the game, and the stats and the data will tell you and what they like and what they don't like. What it is. That's why it's online. I suspect when someone says that they mean they like the game the way it is, they would rather it not change. So they would rather if it all depends, I guess, how many hours they put in. But if a game had no stashes the entire time, and then as soon as they play their second character, and then they have to start putting stuff in their stash, they're going to realize they're out of stash. So they would never want it to change, right? They're just like, it's fine. It's just the way it is. Or if they're playing the game and all of a sudden they nerf one of your builds because it wasn't tested or play tested, they're okay with that because it just wasted their time, right? Even though they had fun playing it, but they rather it not change, but yet they nerf their build. They're like, it's no big deal. I only bitch to my wife when the servers are dumb. Or down. Or dumb. Two most common stripper names. Which is every day for Destiny. Quintar says, seasons really didn't start until Diablo 3, and the always online issues ladders didn't start in Diablo 2, but mainly for competition reasons. D2 Remastered had seasons. Not so with OGD2. Thank you, Quintar. Thank you. They added it, and my whole point was saying that they added it and changed the landscape of the game is because it wasn't how it was always been. They added stuff to the game to make it better, to have the longevity of it, because there wasn't live service back then. Then D3 came out. It was also live service just started up, and that's why they added seasons afterwards. Okay, now D4 is here, and they're not even doing what the other games did, right? They're taking less out, right, before the game even comes out even more to test it out, right? Hence why I say it's a beta form. B, I did. I did say it, and it's astronomically bad. Flash won't even make $350 million. Will not even make $350 million, right? We'll look at that. That's not domestically. That's worldwide. They're not going to make $350 million. I'll look at that later in the show. We'll go to Box Office Mojo and look at it. I posted something this weekend on Sunday. They made $15 million this weekend. Jennifer Lawrence's like 90s type of film, the rom-com that she's in, almost beat The Flash this weekend. Just think about that for a second. I'm liking D4, but Street Fighter 6 is making me forget I own it. That's good, Jason. That's good. If you can find a game that you like, right? I'm loving, right? I just read a person that's having issues with Diablo 4, right? I'm absolutely addicted to Diablo 4, but I know its flaws and I see its flaws and I want it fixed, right? I want it fixed. Also, always online, they can just shut it down whenever they want. Yeah, just to know that this game, Quintar, is the first Diablo 4 game you will not own, because they won't have an offline mode, because if they had an offline mode, it means that you would own this game afterwards. They do not want that to happen, right? Just like Starfield and Diablo, physical copy only gives you a digital copy now. A physical copy only gives you a digital copy. Blizzard needs to adjust the loot grind for me to keep me invested. I don't know if I can fix the Sorcerer's mana management. Right now, I'm level 74, and I got a boot yesterday that wasn't even close to my level, and I leveled it up just so I can get +2, right? We're talking about mid-maxing right now, and I'm at 74. Now, I know more gear drops at 85, but I'll be honest with you, I don't even care about reaching level 100. I'm just trying to complete my renown. That's all I'm trying to do. Fate Walker says, people have their own tastes. There are people who like Resident Evil inventory retention. These are people who like it, and I'm one of them. No, but it's there. Yeah, no, I get that, Fate. I get that. But people can bitch what they want, and when they make the changes is because the masses are more than the people that don't care, right? You got to remember, a lot of people that play don't even watch YouTube. They don't read blogs. They don't know anything. They just buy Diablo, and then they just play Diablo, right? They probably won't ever make it to endgame. They probably won't even complete the campaign, right? Majority of the population will not beat the campaign, okay? So then they have to look at the majority that's left over who's playing, how many people are bitching. So if there's only 25, let's just say 25 people, 25% of the whole population beat the game. So if there's 10 million people, right? 10 million people, 250 million people didn't beat the campaign, and everybody else, 250 million people beat the campaign. 75% of the population did not beat the campaign. Okay. Then you have 750 million people that now go, oh yeah, it's perfect or not perfect. What's the problems with the thing? Now you have to take that 750 million people and break that down into how many people want this change. And Blizzard looks at it and goes, well, there's a huge part of the population that wants more stashes. There's a huge part of the population that wants offline, right? If they're a good business, they'll listen to the majority of their population. But they also have to look at it and reference it and go, how, if we make these changes, how many of these people might leave? And the leftovers, do they care? And this is why they might make changes and they might not make changes. This is why it's online. This is why they look at the forums. This is why they look at all the stuff, because they want to make sure they make the right choice for the game. Sometimes I think they might move a little too slow. Another game might come along and then people are gone. Whatever that game is. It might be an independent game that someone loves, right? Somebody might like Street Fighter 6. Someone might like Mortal Kombat 1. Someone might like Starfield. And they go bye-bye. And they might come back 2 years from now and go, oh, how's Diablo? Right? I was going to buy Diablo 3 when it came out, but then it had all those problems when it launched. I didn't buy it for 9 years. And then I bought it in November for $8 with everything. Right? That's embarrassing. DC's in a shambles. Kylo, it's so bad that Black Adam came out and it bombed. It lost $180 million, and they lied about it. They lied about that it made money, which was proven that it didn't make money. And that movie is the highest grossing film so far for DC since Batman, which is just insane. It made like $380 million, and it lost $180 million. Sorry, I can't hear you, 30, on the Flash movie from the booming around the from the booming of around the world. What do you mean? Oh, from the Flash because he's going so fast. I'm sure they're working on it. Just beating a dead horse. Have you seen the movie Joy with Jennifer Lawrence? No, Magic. That's what I'm saying. That movie that came out almost beat the Flash this weekend. My wife wants to watch it, so we'll probably watch it. There's also people out there that do not know how to talk about constructive criticism. Oh, absolutely. There's a lot of people that don't do that. They just go straight up to, well, I like it, so you're wrong, or there's no problems. They don't care about it. Games get better because of people who do the constructive criticism. Hell, look at Marvel's Avengers, Fate. Right? Look at Marvel's Avengers. I mean, Marvel's Avengers is dead, but look at all the changes they made because of the people that were playing the game. That was a small community playing that game. There's a small community playing that game. You didn't own the physical copies before either. Lovely TOS and the licensing legally speak. What are you talking about, Akuta Papa? I can literally go up until about 8 years ago. I can go put a video game in, and I do own that. I do own that. I bought it on release. Wasn't bad, but I wasn't a fan of the cartoon look. For which one, boss? What did you buy at release? Flash is going to make less money than the Eternals. Yeah, imagine that. Sounds like an Avengers shill. I mean, I loved Avengers. They did make changes because of the community that was there. Not because of the community that wasn't there, because of the community that was there. As she says, 30 off topic, real quick. I heard the new Spider-Man 2 main theme song. It's actually really cool. I haven't heard it. Oh, D3. Gotcha. You didn't like Batman with Robert Pattinson? No, I actually did like it. I had a review about it on my Nerding with 30 channel. Avengers example is dev/finance department making decisions and then shifting to the licensing to the community way too late. Sure, but the people that we said fix certain things, they listen to the majority. It doesn't matter how big the majority is. That was my point, Fate, right? They listen to the majority of the people that were doing the constructive criticism. They're not listening to the people that are saying, go kill yourself. You know what I mean? Exactly, Jason. Exactly. When you're in love with something, you just don't know. Like, I remember a time I was dating a girl back in high school, and all of my friends were like, she's not good for you. You shouldn't date her. She's a bitch, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, nah. I love her. Right? Because I was getting some. Right? And then there was an epiphany. I saw the right? I saw the wizard behind the curtain. And then I was just like, whoa. They were right. And I got out of there. Right? But to get to that point, it's hard. When you're glossed over and you're in love, love is love, regardless if it's with a person, with an animal, or like if you have a dog and your dog is vicious and kills things, but you're like, no, it doesn't kill anything that I love it. It doesn't do anything to me, right? But it is what it is, right? You don't see it because you're blind because of love. You can love a video game and not see its flaws. And that's not a bad thing. It's just that the person that literally argues with you is coming from a place of they're completely blinded by love. What are we talking about? We're talking about Diablo 4 and all the problems with it. We read through a blog post, a Horseman. This guy on on the Blizzard forums, on the Blizzard forums was talking about all the problems in the game that it's having right now. Sort of like that, Magic. I won't say I won't say what happened, but yeah, I'll tell you that I got cheated on. Yeah. Love is blind in some cases? No, love is blind in all cases. Love makes you blind. For better or worse, love makes you blind. 100%. To this extent, right? If you love someone so much, if they have flaws, okay, you're okay with them, right? It doesn't matter what the little flaw is. They could leave their toothbrush out of the holder or something, right? You're okay with it because the pros outweigh the cons. What's love got to do with it? Because people that love video games, Super Dave, are blinded by it. So when someone criticizes the game they love, they think they're being attacked, right? They think they're being attacked. If you love something and someone says something bad about that thing, right? Oh, I know it's a quote of a song, but if you love something and someone comments on it, you're going to be defensive of it because that's what it is. To be honest, you love the flaws. True, Hilly. True. You accept it and you love, you take it with it, all stuff. The people that love video games, they take their flaws, but when someone wants to come in and try to fix that, they think they're being attacked. They're like, no, I like it the way it is, even though it would be better if they changed it. Who needs a heart when a heart can be broken? Are we doing this? Are we doing this now? I just saw a guy crying his ass off for attention. I mean, that takes it to the next level, boss. You know what I mean? That's a person that's, and I don't know what you're talking about, but if a person's crying, and you're talking about Diablo, is that what it is? You saw a guy crying his ass off for attention for a video game? Like he was crying about Diablo 4? I mean, some people fall hard. I don't know what to tell you. I cry when Diablo lags and shuts down. I was a little upset. It was funny this weekend. I logged in. What was it? Saturday? Late on Saturday. I logged in and it was doing that error because they were getting DDoSed. I sat there for 10 minutes kept hitting the button. And I was like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, what am I doing? Right? I was like, why am I doing this? It's broke. So I shut it off and I played a different game. Especially if the flaw causes pain point and they work through the gatekeep, the flaw, and everyone needs to play through it like a rite of passage. Yeah, I could see that, Hilly. Right? It's almost like, for instance, I have 130 hours in it. Someone that's got 400 hours in it looks at me and says, I don't know what I'm talking about. But I have to have a certain amount of point to talk about it. Otherwise, If you didn't play it, then your opinion doesn't matter, right? Because you're like, well, I didn't even play the game. It's like, well, how many hours did you put into the game, right? But you can put in less hours to a game. It's like other games, and then give your opinion on it, right? But you're gonna get pushback when people are like, well, you didn't even play the game. Even when we were on the when I was doing Reforge, people were saying, well, he hasn't even got out of level tier 1. He's only level 26. What does he know? He knows because he's played every other game before that. He can make assumptions based on the information that was given before. He's played other games like Diablo, like other looters. And you know what? He was spot on. Spot on without putting 100 hours into Diablo 4. You're demonstrating addicting behavior. Press button to receive dopamine. Press button more. The wait, dopamine will come to promise. Yeah, exactly, Fate. Exactly. But you broke out of it and moved on to a different game, right? That's the problem. But that's the whole thing. My whole point to that, Fate, was I'm addicted to it. I want to keep playing, right? I just want to play the game. I just want to go kill another dungeon. I just want to kill the next dungeon. I just want to go collect the next thing. I just want to open the next chest. I just want to get the next drop. And it's like, but nothing's happening. The same thing when I was hitting the button and it wasn't booting up because of the DDoS is the same thing when people are doing dungeon after dungeon after dungeon after dungeon and they're not getting anything, but they think they are. They're addicted, so they keep pressing the button to continue doing what they're doing, and it's not going to change because there's problems with the game and it needs to get fixed. Guy says, nice. I got Game Pass pre-roll ad before jumping back into the Steam. Game Pass. Game Pass. There you go. So, like, this guy talks about Game Pass. Let's put a pre-roll of Game Pass on there. 30, no, you can't. You need a minimal of 500 hours to make your opinion and 1,500 hours to be an expert. Well, technically, to be an expert, you have to have 10,000 hours. So, now, I don't have 10,000 hours in Diablo, but I do have 10,000 hours in gaming. I probably have close to like 100,000, if not more. Which is kind of sad. Makes me sad now. I was literally sitting at my desk contemplating life while trying to log in on Sunday morning. Yeah. Kylo was like, what am I doing with my life? What am I doing? I don't know what I'm doing with my life. There. Put the stove off. Did I do something today? You're not an expert until you get 1 in 5 million pieces. Right. If you get that one piece, Fate, you are an expert. People would love you. That's my goal, Fate. I'm going to play the game until I get one of those pieces, and then I'm going to show everybody. I'm going to be the expert at it. I have 14,000 hours in Dota. Go on, Dabstick. I was so in shambles. I hope GTA 4. Or I hopped on GTA 4. Oh man, you fell off the wagon. You were like, what am I doing with my life? You know what? I'm gonna play Grand Theft Auto 4. You didn't buy shark cards, did you? When you did it, Kylo? Did you fall off hard or just soft? I'm using the FAA number as base. 500 to fly commercially and 1,500 to get your license for passenger planes. I gotcha. I got annoyed when Valheim talked about adding an easier mode. I had to check myself, like, don't post a load of nonsense. This mode doesn't have any impact on my server or my experience. That's a whole nother conversation, Hilly, right? You'll see. I mean, look at this comment. The very first comment this guy said, right? He says, 1 down, because the guy said he's going to leave, right? 1 down, several thousand more to go. Like, we had the conversation last week about what Paul Tassi was talking about making the battle pass just so I can do it with my eternal character. And people are like freaking out. They're like, no, it's not fair to me if I have to play the season and they don't have to play the season. It's like, what are you saying? Like, same with Souls, right? Now, obviously, if the developer says there's no easy mode, then there's no easy mode. But the people asking for an easy mode, if there is an easy mode, people getting upset because there's easy mode because they feel like they have a badge because they beat the game on the hardest difficult, like the difficulty. There is no hardest difficulty. They beat the difficulty. And if they feel like if they put in a slider thing in there to make it easier, that it diminishes them playing the game, right? I think it's funny because I forget the girl, she like beat Diablo, or not Diablo, she beat Dark Souls or Bloodborne, I forget what it was, with like bananas, and then she also beat it with just her mind. Like she didn't even use a controller, and she just used her mind. So if anybody has beaten that game just normally, but she beat it with just her mind, then you all are losers because she beat it with her mind. Do you know what I mean? But that's not the case. You all beat the game. She just beat it with her mind. Okay? Each their own. If you want to play the game on the hardest difficulty or the easiest difficulty, it doesn't change the fact that you beat it on hard. I think it's funny to me because I think a lot of people don't like challenge, right? They don't like challenge. So the challenge is, if it's at this difficulty, you push yourself, which I agree with, right? You push yourself to try to make it the best of the best. Try to push yourself to beat that game on the hardest difficulty. But if there's a chance that you can lower that difficulty, they're going to take it. They're going to take it because it's there for them to take it. And I think that's why the pushback is there. I'm in right now, but they may be interruptions. Yeah, they'll be working on the servers for the next, like, 2 days. The next 2 days, I believe, Horseman. You're also the only expert as long as you did it in the current season. As soon as the season resets, you're a novice. Right. You got to stay with it. Well, it's just like doing anything else, Fate. Like, even in my profession, right? A new camera comes out. I have to train on the new camera to be current with that camera. If I don't learn that camera, then I'm out. No one's going to call me up for that job. I gotta stay current. Nope. Paid $20 for the Ballad of Gay Tony 15 years ago and still enjoying it to this day. Nice. I want the same it goes for Dota. That's the only way it stays interesting. Probably my favorite game of 360 PS3 era. Oh, really? GTA 4? Mine would be Red Dead. Red Dead or Mass Effect 2 for that era. Elden Ring on a dance pad. That's right. If you haven't done it, Horseman, then if you haven't done the dance pad, then I don't want anyone to talk about their experience with the game, right? You have to be hardcore or get out. If you haven't beaten it with your pinky, just your pinky, then I don't want to talk to you. Beat Dark Souls 1 on the DJ turntable. You got video of that, Kylo? Otherwise, it didn't happen. Love to build, miss Arc days. I built some super cool shit. Boss says, I supposed to undergo maintenance in the near future. Yeah, so don't get on the very title screen. It says they're running it for like 3 hours today and tomorrow. So just know that you might get kicked off or whatever. Oh, can I say they have to fix the Butcher? I've beaten the Butcher like 6-7 times now. Okay, but holy Christ. Okay, they've done something to the Butcher where his poison is ridiculous and the shields that he's doing is ridiculous. Like, I break it down and I'm like minusculing doing like the damage to him. I don't know what they did to him, but it feels different. Was there a patch note that they buffed or did something to the Butcher? It's so, at this point, I've seen him so many times now. I just let him kill me because I don't want to sit there for 15 minutes trying to kill him. They just need to go to get good. Still looking for the easy slider for life. Yeah. That piece does not drop until 85. Yeah, once you hit 85, then there's a 1 in 5 million hour chance that you're going to get it. Yeah, good luck. Good luck to you. B says, I think the Destiny 2 microtransaction nightmare is foreshadowing what's going to happen to Diablo 4. Microtransactions slowing, killing modern gaming. I think that's like the sky is falling Chicken Little a little bit, B. Because take microtransactions out, right? The microtransaction and fill that back in with the player base, right? So the same thing you're just saying. The Destiny 2 player base nightmare is foreshadowing that's going to happen to Diablo 4 player base is slowing killing the modern gaming, right? And what I mean by that is the players are the ones that buy the microtransactions. That player base, the 20% that makes 80% of the profits for the gaming companies, is what's killing the gaming in modern gaming. It's not the microtransactions. It's the players that are buying the microtransactions. That goes into a whole other conversation. Well, if they're having fun, if it's just cosmetic, then what's the big deal? And they don't understand them buying stuff is not making the games better. Hence Destiny 2. It's just going, okay, give them an inch, they take a mile. All right, we could charge for this, then we could charge for this. If we could charge for this, then we could charge for this. If we could charge for this, then we could charge for this. And then it's like you're at a buffet, but instead of paying all in one price at the buffet, it's a la carte, and you're paying for each individual item. I personally, they should allow companies to have an anti-DDoS mechanic in the target systems and find a controlling computer and blows the parts to hell using overclocking, etc. Speedrunners are just players that do not respect the time of the developers, avoiding time gates and the disservice to the developers and your personal morals. Yeah, those damn speedrunners. The Butcher scales, but I think he scales buffed, unlike the world bosses. Let me tell you, Quintar, when I'm playing him, I beat him, but there's the timer that you have to stun him, and when you stun him, that's so when you're playing the Butcher, you just want to do enough damage to stun him. And once you stun him, then you do all your damage super fast. Okay? You just have to mitigate the beating that he's giving you, but the poison that they've put on him is ridiculous. Is ridiculous. I have to like run around and do like certain stupid shit, and I'm just like, okay. At that point, I'm just letting him kill me so I can move on with my time. Because I'm just trying to run through the dungeons as fast as possible to get them complete. I need 9 more. I think I need 9 more dungeons to complete the renown. And as I'm running through, I've hit. Get this shit. I don't know if this has happened to anybody else. I didn't even know this was possible. Okay, I hit the Butcher like the very beginning of the dungeon, and then I started going through the dungeon. It was one of those dungeons that I had to teleport. Like there's a portal, and then I went through the portal to the next section, and then I hit another Butcher, and I was like, 2 Butchers in one dungeon? I was like, what the hell? I didn't even think it was possible, and I was so aggravated at that point because I just wanted to get through the dungeon, but I spent like it felt like 15 minutes, but it was probably like 5 or 7 minutes killing this one Butcher, and then 2 minutes went by, I went through the portal, and then I had to fight another Butcher, and I was like, what the hell's going on? D4 needs to sell me stuff. Their store is kind of bad. I'm more excited to get the next season of Diablo 3. Yes, I said Diablo 3. The Butcher is so easy now. Apparently, I missed something, Hellspawn, because I beat him the other day on stream, right? And then I beat him another 2-3 times off stream. And then since those times, it's like he's scaled up and they buffed him or something. I don't know what's happening. Yeah, I've had that. Each portal has a random chance of the Butcher respawn. I was like, what is happening? Like this thing wanted. I killed both of them, but now when I see him, I just let him kill me. I just let him kill me so I can go through the dungeons faster. I don't want to take that extra time to kill him. I'm just like complacent. I'm like, oh, there's the Butcher. Go ahead, kill me. Plus, it's not worth it. I've never killed the Butcher yet and gotten the cosmetic cleaver. I've killed him. I think I've killed him 8-9 times. Right? Haven't got the cosmetic thing. Fine. I also haven't gotten anything cool from his drop. I haven't kept one item from the Butcher drop. Let me open up. Let's see here. Need to change. This needs to change. Does he have a video that's shorter? I watched Asthma Gold the other day talk about. He talks about the rarest items. The rarest items is stupid. They're just stupid at this point. It's like, why did you even bring them up? They're so dumb. Drop me a unique or so. I haven't got anything from. I could deal with him up into the 60s on my rogue, but the necros are OP and they can kill him in seconds. Yeah, my druid, it took me about 2 minutes the first time, and then I got it down to about a minute and a half to killing him, and then all of a sudden now it's taking me like 5 minutes to kill him. So apparently, as I'm leveling up, I'm not getting enough power, right? Because that's another stupid reason in this game. You get weaker as you level up. You get weaker as you level up because your gear stays the same, and you have to find some other piece of gear, but you can't find the piece of gear to level up. Yeah, 5 million hours on average for those drops. It's ridiculous. I might be told I'm insane, but I think Outriders deserves a sequel. I mean, the story was mid. The story was mid. I had fun playing the game, Travis. I don't know if they're going to get a sequel. If they did, I think they're going to lose money on it as well. Unless they do massive improvements to that game. Well, the problem, Travis, with Diablo 4 is if I have, let's say I have a piece of gear that's, it hits for 100%, and I'm level 1. Okay? But then I go to level 2, and now my weapon, I'm level 2, but my gear is getting weaker. So it only hits at 98. And then I'm at level 3, and then it hits for 96. Until I find a new weapon to level up, to get to the point, I hit less until I upgrade it again. Right? And obviously there's a bunch of other numbers between your critical hit and critical chance and vulnerable and all over, overpower and stuff like that. But you're getting weaker as you level up. I think he got buffed because was beating him up until a couple days ago after one of the patches. That's what I'm saying. That's what I was asking. I think they nerf buffed, or I think they secretly buffed him. I don't want to say nerf buff. That doesn't make any sense. I think they buffed him like a silent buff because it's something different now. He's just different. Outriders is a good game played, but the devs handling it online are idiots. I mean, the story being mid is always open for interpretation. Like, well, no, that the acting and stuff was mid. Like, the story itself was just mid. I'm not saying it was terrible. Watch the whole thing. D4 is super mid to me, but you enjoyed it. So yeah, it's all about preference. Sure, but then there's also the fact of the acting, right? The acting and the way the story is. Sure, it's subjective. But I guess it's always subjective because one game wins awards and the other one doesn't. But to say one game is better than the other is factual. Because when you watch a movie, you might like the movie, but then when that movie doesn't win awards or doesn't win anything, doesn't mean it's a bad movie. It just means the movie that people think are better are better. Like Outriders was terrible sound design. Terrible. Those are facts. Outriders was fast food of sci-fi gaming to me. Not bad, but okay. I remember Lono laughing at the characters in Outriders because they swore like children. Yeah, the dialogue, the written dialogue of Outriders was bad. The voice acting in Outriders was not top-notch. To me, D4 is just another super edgy fantasy story that's like reading an emo kid's fan fiction. In my opinion, sorry, it sounds too harsh. Sure, but at the end of the day, we'll see if Diablo wins for story, if we wins for sound design, wins for certain things, which I think it will. Again, not liking something because all pieces of art are subjective, right? But at the same time, when the peers of people start voting for games and they get higher scores, that just means it's factually proven that it's a better game, better story, better whatever. Here, this would be a good time. Let's look at this, right? Right? The Flash. Okay? The Flash, you guys might have seen it. You guys might have liked it. Okay? You guys might have seen it. You might have liked it. But the majority of the world decided that this movie is not going to be good. They decided that this movie is not going to be good. Now, those are the public opinions. Now, the private opinions of their peers at the end of the year or next year when they do the Academy Awards, we'll see if this movie gets nominated for Best Picture, Best CGI, Best Sound Design, Best Story, right? And we'll see what's good and bad. Now, lots of money doesn't mean great story or not, because there's tons of stuff that's independent films that are watched by a fraction of the people, but the stories are fantastic. Lots of people that like stuff in the movie industry are not great stories. They're just mind-numbing, throw popcorn in your face, you're being entertained. That's what it is. Yeah, but you got to remember, human beings are just giant lemmings. So D4 being every other commercial on TV makes me think it's good, so I got to go out and buy it. Sure. But then there's the other people that tell you if it's good or not. If it sells a lot, doesn't mean it's a good game. If people watch, doesn't mean it's a good movie. What I'm saying is there's two different perspectives, Travis. There's people that like something and there's people that don't like something. But then when the peers look at it and say it's a bad movie and then it doesn't win anything, that means if someone says Spider-Man is better than Avengers, or I'm sorry, Flash, that's factual. Spider-Man made more money, won awards left and right, where this movie will not. Okay? Which then says, well, then someone could be like, well, they're not the same movies. Regardless, if someone's having an argument and says, well, Spider-Man's a better movie than this, and they're like, well, I like this. There's facts, and then there's just your opinion. Tons of money doesn't mean good. Cough, cough, rings of power. Exactly. I was just saying marketing and over promoting stuff can factor into sales. And yes, D4 has been over promoted. Okay, well, let me give you the other thing. Promotions for Rings of Power, since Akuda Papa just brought it up, that was everywhere. Everywhere. You would think that was a good thing. And then the society came out and said, no, it's not a good thing. Right? So here's factual stuff, right? So Flash came out, and it's been out since June 16th. So it's been out for 10 days. And on day one, it made $24 million, which is about half of usually what these DC movies and stuff make. It made $15 million the first Saturday. It made $15 million the second Saturday. Okay. Which is about an average drop of what it does. But then the following Friday, it dropped 81%. 81%. It made $4.5 million on Friday. It made $6.1 million on Saturday. Okay. And it made $4.6 million on Sunday. Those are horrific numbers. if you are a studio and your blockbuster movie that you spent $200+ million on made 15 million 10 days into the thing, holy Christ, you should be panicking. You should be panicking. This movie was delayed over and over and over, and it literally made 15.2 million dollars this weekend. Okay, 15.2 million. No hard feelings. No hard feelings. The Jennifer Lawrence movie that just came out. Okay. Just fell behind it by like 100 million. Like 100.2 mil. Or 100,000. Not even mil. Sorry. 100,000. It literally made almost the exact same money as The Flash. Now, obviously, it only made 15 million domestically, 9 million internationally, and 24 million. But holy Christ. Holy Christ. Can you imagine in this day a movie like what The Flash was supposed to be? Now, these numbers are arbitrary because obviously some people look at this and go, oh, it must be a bad film. And other people go, I don't care what it is. I'm going to go see it because I like movies. I look at this and go, all right, well, let's go look at why it's so bad. Right? Now, I don't take this for verbatim. But you got to look at it, right? I mean, it's about a 70. It's around a 70. So in my eyes, this is better than Wonder Woman 1984. That was a crap movie, right? So that's the low tier for me. Wonder Woman 84. And this seems like it's a lot better than that. So it can't be that bad. So I'll watch this not in theaters. I'll watch it when it comes out because it's mid. It's 60, 70. Okay, because I take the 84 and the 65, so it's about a 70. It's about a 75%. Okay, so I'll watch it when it comes out. I don't look at this and go, well, just terrible. Now, if you look at certain shows and certain things, then yeah, you look at it and go, it's being talked about being bad, and right, and it's reviewed bad. Spider-Verse, it's on its way to 600 million. It's been out for 24 days, and the last weekend it made more money than The Flash in its 10 days. Right? The funny part is the Black Adam. The Black Adam, this movie lost about 170, 180 million dollars. Okay. This is the best movie that DC has come out with in the last year and a half, up until, well, since Batman. Like, Batman came out, then these movies came out. I don't think Blue Beetle's going to do any better. I don't think Aquaman's going to do... I think, well, Aquaman might do a little bit better, but it's got Amber Heard and stuff in it, so people might boycott that as well. But to think that... Like, you saw this the second week, and everyone's like, oh my God, 72% drop. Flash dropped 80%. This is first of all, not good openings. Not good openings for DC films. Right? You also got, what, Shazam 2 that bombed completely? Right? You got Shazam 2, which is absolutely garbage. You had Birds of Prey and Suicide Squad. Didn't do very well because it opened up on streaming platforms and whatnot. The only movie that did really good for them was the Batman. Okay. The Batman made $770 million. And domestically, it did fantastic. Right? These are numbers you need to see. Right? You need to see these type of numbers in your opening weekend. Right? Now, obviously, Batman's the most well-known character next to Superman in the DC universe. Okay? But this is the numbers they want to see. I didn't even look at how many theaters did how many theaters did Flash open up in? Oh wow, 4,200. That's terrible. It'll be interesting to see what happens with James Gunn in his future of the DC universe. He, in my opinion, he and here's my thought process on how he does stuff like this. He literally sabotaged the DC universe as is when he came out last year, early this year, and said that I have a whole brand new universe and all the stuff that's coming out. Because this basically gave no credence to anything that was coming out. Okay. He basically burned this DC down so that it would be shit. So when his stuff comes out, it would do better. And it would make him look better. All right, Kuda Papa. Have a good one. My friend says the CGI is incredible. I've heard multiple people that of friends of mine that have seen The Flash, and they said the CGI was absolute trash. But I haven't seen it myself, so I can't say one way or the other. I've only seen the previews, and the previews look terrible. Like the trailer did not do anything for me. I don't fall for the nostalgia baiting with Michael Keaton and whatnot. I'm sure Michael Keaton's the best thing in that movie, and if it wasn't for Michael Keaton, I don't even think it would make the money that it made today. I think the only reason Flash made as much money as it did is because Batman's in the film. He sabotaged DC so people would go to see Marvel. No, I didn't say to see Marvel. He sabotaged DC so when he comes out with his DC, it's going to do better. I just can't see WB management being patient for James Gunn's vision to unfold for DC movies. Well, they're in it. They're in it. They what are they going to do? Tiny. If they don't take him, what are they going to do? Hire somebody else and continue doing what they had that wasn't working? It's not working. So I'm saying that 30, I think he sabotaged DC so people go see Marvel. I don't know. I don't know why he would do that in that form. He wasn't he in the trailer though, boss? Oh, you're saying they dropped the ball by putting him in the trailer. You're saying if they didn't put him in the trailer, no one would go see The Flash, is what you're saying. I got you. Shouldn't have been. I don't know. Because what they showed of him in the trailer didn't sell me. I personally, I didn't like Ezra as the Flash when they first showed him. I just thought he was just a weird fit for the Flash. I wanted to see, what's his name, Burt Gustin, right? That's the guy who plays the Flash in the show. I thought he was a really good Flash. I thought they were going to use him in the films, but obviously they don't do that type of stuff. I didn't like Ezra. This is not because of any of the stuff that he did outside of the movie industry or anything like that. I didn't like him when I first saw him. I also didn't like the guy who played Cyborg. I just thought they played the characters weird. Yeah, there were supposed to be those, and I didn't see the movie, but there's supposed to be like, oh my god moments in the film, and you saw it, I didn't. Did they land good? I don't know. I'll have to wait to see. He was great in this movie. Yeah, I didn't even like Ezra inside of the what's the other what are those Harry Potter ones? I forget what the titles of those are. I lost interest in people though when I was told that the first Black Panther was good. Moments in this movie were cool. They all had nothing amazing, like how it would be if we had known Michael Keaton was in the Flash. Gotcha. Fantastic Beast. Thank you. That's it. For a second, I wanted to say Mr. Beast, the Fantastic Mr. Beast, but I was thinking of like Mr. Beast, like the YouTuber for a second. I was like, no, that's not it. Yeah, the Fantastic Beast. I didn't like his character in that either, and I saw those late. I saw those late. I didn't even know he was in those movies. I just don't. I don't know. I didn't like him. Some of the scenes were comical, though. It was good in my eyes. He's just a weird one. You're talking about the trailer, Super Dave, that you saw with Ezra, where he's talking to himself, like the other Flash and whatnot. Yeah, I'll give it a shot when it comes out. I'm not going to give him money though to watch it in theaters. I also think that Hollywood has a longevity problem. Like, they're making movies just way too freaking long. I think they're making movies way too long. Like a good movie is like an hour and like 40 minutes. The problem with DC, it has no idea where it wants to go. Well, right. Well, I think that's why this movie was so beneficial for them to get it out, because of the Flash supposed to change things, right? So they have a fresh start. No, viewing time. I think movies are too long. Most of my criticism on movies is that they could have cut out 35, 40 minutes of that movie, and it would have been just as good, right? What was the last movie I just saw? Spider-Verse, or Across the Spider-Verse. They could have cut out another 25 minutes of that movie, and it still would have been just as good, right? They're making these movies just too long. Just too long. The problem with making a movie long, like Lord of the Rings long, like 3 hours long, 2 hours and 45 minutes long, is the review ability of it, right? A movie makes good money when it's in a sweet spot and people can watch it over and over and over again, right? Uh, yeah. If you're making a movie, and let's say it's the first movie of something. Let me see if I can show you here. Homecoming. Right? Like Spider-Man No Way Home was like 2 hours and 13 minutes. When that movie came out, they could have cut out 20 minutes of that movie. Every Spider-Man movie they had, they could cut about 20 minutes out of the movie. The first Spider-Man movie is actually is I think the shortest of the three. No, the second one is 2 hours and 9 minutes. I still think they could cut about 20 minutes out of that one. Okay, but usually when you have a character in a brand new film, you want it to keep it like concise and good. And then if they come out with a second one, you can make it just a little bit longer, and then you can make the third one really long, because you're finishing up the whole thing. Okay, but a lot of movies now come out and they're almost 3 hours long, 2 hours and 2.5 hours long. There was a show I watched. We just finished it yesterday, called The Night Agent on Netflix. I recommend it if you guys like that type of stuff, type of shows. Um, I thought the pacing of that show was really good each episode. Up until episode, I think it was like 8. And then all of a sudden, everything that was happening over the first like 7 episodes, episode 8, they kind of like rushed it. 8, 9, and 10, they just kind of like quick. Season's almost over. We gotta get through it. They had pacing problems in 8, 9, and 10. Definitely 9 and 10. Marvel movies have a problem with length. Black Panther 2, they could have got 45 minutes out of that movie. Like a lull. Second act's usually like a lull. Shang-Chi, their third act was terrible. I love the first 2 acts of Shang-Chi. The third one ruined it for me. I don't even think that movie was very long. It was 2 hours and 12 minutes. It could have been an hour and 40. It would have been better. Even Batman. The Batman was actually too long. They could have shortened that out. And then even when you thought it was ended, they like had another like ending to it. It was like 2 hours and 56 minutes. They could have made that movie like 2 hours and 20 minutes, and it would have been just as good. There was like 2 endings. There was like 2 endings in the Batman. I just think Batman was fine. I think they could have I don't want to ruin it for anybody if you haven't seen it, but where he saves people in the city, whatever, that would have been fine as the ending or the other ending. But they had like 2 endings. It's actually a good movie. It's a good movie, Tiny. I think Robert Pattinson's one of my better I don't want to say favorite, but he's definitely one of the better Batman out there. I liked him as Batman, but I didn't like him as Bruce. Did you like him as Bruce, Hilly? I didn't like him as Bruce. At the same time, it's still young Bruce, so he might grow into the character. I kind of liked Ben Affleck's Batman. I didn't think I was going to like him as Batman, but I like him as the older grumpy Batman. Come on, George. I thought the movie was great, though. I liked the way they did the suit. I liked the way I thought the whole thing was just done very well. Very noir, detective, like gritty, old school type of what Batman was supposed to be. Oh yeah, Keaton's great. Pepper 8 says, sounds about right. You like him when you can't see his face and he's broody. I just thought he did a really good job as Batman. It's not about his face. I don't think I mean, I like him as an actor. I think he's a great actor overall. I just thought his take for Bruce just kind of weird. Yeah, it was I don't know. I did get this like emo kid vibe type from him. Yeah, exactly. I just never pictured Bruce as emo. I think obviously, even though it's year 1 Batman and it's year 2 Batman for him in the film, it's based on year 1, but it's year 2. I think we haven't seen the Playboy Bruce yet. You know what I mean? He's literally getting into it I think the next movie we see him, he's going to be a completely different Bruce character. Well, you didn't like him in I don't even know what the damn movie is called. The hell is the vampire one called? Twilight. A billionaire emo doesn't make sense to me. Right. No, not Tenet. He was good in Tenet. He was really good in Tenet. Well, the real question is, George, how many people watch Twilight and will admit it? That's the real question. I just didn't like the twinkle stuff. Yeah, I watch them. I love movies. Maybe what I'll start doing. Maybe I'll have like these talks instead of doing it on this channel like I'm doing. And maybe I should really do it. Just do it over on like a late Friday stream over on Nerding with 30 and talk about a movie or a show. Like I would love to talk about the Night Agent. I thought it was good. I used to do it, but I used to do it in a more structured form. It would be more of a just conversation if people want to talk about the movie or whatnot. I don't know if I'll ever see Twilight. I've never been a teenage girl. There's always time, though, Brain. I mean, it is 2023. If you remove DC, Marvel, Tom Cruise, WTF is left in Hollywood. Brendan Fraser eating pizza for an hour. Hilly's like, I want some action. If you take these things out, then there's nothing left in Hollywood. I kind of like certain movies though. I don't think you always need a movie, Hilly, to be this like Fast and Furious Marvel DC type of stuff, right? I do love those type of things. Like I can't wait for Mission Impossible, the next Mission Impossible. I can't even argue that. I know. I've never seen Mission Impossible. Kind of embarrassing. Oh, they're so good. They're so good, boss. When he first came out with Mission Impossible, I was like, oh, Tom Cruise doing Mission Impossible, but he just kicks up the ante every single time another Mission Impossible comes out. Is it the fourth one? The fourth one or fifth one? It just, I think it's Protocol. I think that's one. What's the one where he there's Mission Impossible. I think it's Protocol. Dead Reckoning. You got Mission Impossible 96. Then you got Mission Impossible 2. Then you got Mission Impossible 3. You got, was Protocol the fourth one? Yeah. Yeah. Ghost Protocol and then Rogue Nation. That's where they just turn up the thing. All right, Hilly. Have a good one, man. Yeah. Yeah, Mission Impossible 1, 2, and 3 are just kind of like, they're good. They're good. Ghost Protocol is so good. So good. And then Rogue Nation's another good one. I liked when they dropped the number. Yeah, Ghost Protocol was number 4. The Reckoning. No, not Reckoning. Rogue Nations is number 5. Rogue Nation's number 5. I think we're getting the emotional or dramatic and romantic fixes in TV shows now. They're pretty much film quality, but better long-term stories. Explosions in cars are left for the movies. True. I mean, I watched. I was just talking about. I don't know if you were here. Chapter 8. I don't know if you saw The Night Agent on Netflix. I'm really sad that because they leave it where it could go, and now with the writer's strike and stuff, I don't know if they'll make it, but it's really good. I like it. There's a nice little twist on stuff. I thought for the most part, I always think it's a good show when I can't figure it out super fast. I usually figure out things within the first like show or two, an episode or two. Not until episode, I think it was like 6. I was like, this is what's happening, blah blah blah. So I thought it was pretty good, but then they summed it up too fast. The pacing was off in the last couple episodes, but it's good. I haven't seen any of them. Not a big movie buff. Just watch sports and play games. Mission Impossible. Put those in the background. You'll enjoy them. This is going to be the 7th one, I think, or 6th one. I think this is the 6th. It's part 1, and then there's part 2, and then there's going to be a part 3, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, there's 8. Because you got the Dead Reckoning Part 1 comes out this year, and then Dead Reckoning Part 2 comes out. You'll have, there's 6 out, and then you got 7 and 8. Because Mission Impossible Fallout was in 2018. That was the last one to come out. Are they on any streaming services? You know, I don't know. I do not know. Reckoning looks like no. Where to stream all Mission Impossible movies? Let's see. It looks like they are on Paramount, I think. Yeah, if you're a Mission Impossible fan with Paramount Plus subscriptions, you're lucky all 6 films are currently streaming on Paramount Plus. So, if you're Paramount Plus, you can watch them all. Good stuff. There's nothing that I'm like I'm super excited for films coming out besides the next Mission Impossible. But I'm not like super excited about it. Think this will make Top Gun Maverick like numbers? Oh, for sure. Yeah. I don't know what they made. You know what? I just closed it. Let me look at what they let me look at what his other movies made. The other Mission Impossible films. Hmm. All right, we got Mission Impossible. We got Mission Impossible 2. We got Mission 3. We got Nation and Fallout. Okay. We got the first one made 457 million. The second one made 546 million. The third one made 398 million. The fourth one made 694. The fifth one made 682, and the last one made 791. So, besides Mission Impossible 3, the next 3 raised up 694 to 682 to 791. I think the amount of hype that Tom Cruise has done because of Top Gun, I think people are going to come out in droves to watch it, right? And I think obviously it's part 1 of 2. So I'm going to say it's going to break a billion. It's going to come really close to breaking a billion, or if not, like 1.2 billion. What did Top Gun make? $1.4. Ooh, I don't know if it'll beat it, but it definitely will break a billion. I will say that. I think it'll be the first. I think it'll be the first Mission Impossible film to break $1 billion. All right, Faye Walker, have a good one, man. I came in after that, but I guess if that is made 20 years plus ago, Wednesday for also a 3-hour film. It's also been made in Titanic, Green Mile, Rings. Would have been a TV. Right, because they were so long because of the 3 hours. I see what you're saying. Yeah, and they're being made into TV shows now. I think The Batman's a great movie, Dolphin. It's a great movie. Wow, a lot of you haven't seen a Mission Impossible movie. Oh yeah, he was filming them simultaneously. They were filming them simultaneously. Magic. He's still filming. Like he was filming the one that's coming out, and he started filming the other one directly right after. So they already had the writing and stuff already done. Now that the writer's strike is happening. Scorsese films are good. They're not to say that all movies don't need to be. There are movies that need to be 3 hours long. I think if the pacing's good, then sure, have 3 hour long. I think a lot of movies. See, the problem is there used to be less movies, and then when you had a movie that was 3 hours long, it was like, oh, it was like a different. But now all these movies are coming out and they're 3 hours long. What did the original Top Gun do? Oh, the original Top Gun didn't make very much at all. At all. Like you're gonna laugh at these numbers, boss. You're gonna laugh at these numbers. Are you ready for this? 357 million. The last John Wick movie was great. What would that be today? I think if you convert it, I think it goes up to about 700. I would have to look that up. What am I? My brain's shut off now. And was it 1980 worth today? Yeah, it would almost be a billion. 357 million in 1986 is equivalent to purchasing power about 990 million today. So, there you go. This is Opera GX. Opera GX. Yeah, you look at like Star Wars and stuff like that. They made like what did Star Wars make back in the day? Star Wars New Hope. Wow. That can't be from the original, isn't it? Original. Okay. I was like that can't be the original domestic. Oh, that was domestic. There was no international, so it made 307 in 1977. So hold up. That would be equivalent of $1.5 billion today. 1.5 billion. So 300 million in 1977 is equivalent to 1.5 billion. That's what Star Wars basically did back in the day. And that's what Star Wars did for the industry. Like crazy. I think Gone with the Wind is the most though. I think we've done this before. Let's see. Gone with the Wind. Gone with the Wind made $402 million worldwide. Original release made $189 million in 1939. $1939. The calculator. Okay, what was it? 189 million? $1 in 1939 is equivalent to $21 today. So Gone with the Wind would have $4.1 billion. Holy Christ. $4.1 billion. Think about that for a second. How many people went to go see the movies back then? And what the value of the dollar was back then. Okay. James Cameron's Avatar just made $2 billion and ticket prices are $16. Right? So think how many people actually went to go watch Gone with the Wind in theaters. For me, Titanic was always the biggest movie ever. My grandmother went to go watch it, and she never watches anything. Impressive. Yeah, there wasn't a lot of options back then. But to think that it made 189 million back in the day, that's crazy. And then you look, here's a stark, right? Because it's an old movie. When it re-released in 1989, it only made 2.4 million. And when it released in 1998, it made 6.7 million. And then when it released in 2019, 2.1. So like not very many people went to go watch it. I watched Gone with the Wind when I was in middle school or high school. I can't remember. That's crazy though. 189 million. 1939 is 4.5 billion today. And no matter what the base on the BS and racist stereotypes, it's such a good movie. Oh yeah. Yeah. I don't know if it was first in color. I think it was it Gone with the Wind. I want to say what was the I'm typing in, but I think the first was it Metropolis? First colored movie. Oh, it was Wizard of Oz. It was Wizard of Oz. I was gonna say Wizard of Oz. First color film was Wizard of Oz. Oh, Metropolis is a crazy film. Snow White was the first full-length color movie with sound. Snow White was the first full-length color movie with sound. I don't think the Wizard of Oz did very well in theaters, if I'm not mistaken. $39. Yeah. It didn't do very well. The original release they don't even show what it is. They don't have stats for it. They have a total, but they have a total and they didn't start keeping track, I guess. They don't have numbers for it. Since the re-release. Made 14 million, but it came out in 1939. They don't have, so it only made 25 million worldwide. But that's a weird number. But the budget only cost $2.7 million. That's crazy. I wonder what the budget for Gone with the Wind was back then. It was the first full length feature with sound and animated as well. Let's see. The budget for Gone with the Wind was $3.85 million. So in today's world, that would cost $84 million. That's fantastic. That's fantastic. That's well under budget. Can you imagine that movie made? Oh my god, that movie in equivalent today Cost them $84 million to make, and it grossed $4.5 billion in today's standards. Back then, it cost them $3.8 million. That's insane. Sound of Music budget might be crazy. I think they rented a couple of different castles for filming or something like that. All right, let's see. Let's look at Sound of Music. Sound of Music budget was $8.2 million in 1965. Did I miss a zero? Yeah, I did. Oop. That would be $79 million today, which is still under. That's just over Blockbuster, right? Like a Blockbuster film. Sound of Music made 159 million worldwide. The original made 158 million. 158 million worldwide. So it made plenty of its money back. Like think about this, right? So when you take the money, when you take the money of what the budget is, if I spend $1 million to make a movie, I need to make at least 3 times the amount to, and that's giving the countries that they're going to, because you have to pay for all that. They have to pay all the stuff back. Certain people take a bigger percentage and whatnot. So when you see a number and they have a budget, let's say of $1 million, they need to make about $3 million to make their money back. Okay, with the distribution and the cost of the printing the films and then sending it to the theaters and whatnot. So they have to get 3 times the money back. So when you have a movie, a budget of $200 million, okay, $200 million budget, and you got to make at least $550 to $600 million back. So like Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny that's coming out cost them, I think, $250 million. I think they need to make, yeah, the budget. Let me see if I can get the budget. I think the budget's like $250 million. I don't even think they tell you what it is. $295 million is the budget. Almost $300 million to delays and whatever else. This movie needs to make about $900 million. There is no way in hell Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny is going to make $300 million or $900 million to make its money back. There's no way. This is dead on arrival. I think the new Indy film 5 movie will bomb in the box office first week in a couple days. Yeah. Did actors get profit sharing back then? They did not. So one of the first movies to do profit sharing, Chapter 8 was after Star Wars. So Star Wars, George Lucas was the first person to sign contracts with the actors to use their likeness for merchandise, for toys and whatnot. So the only people that used to get paid back in the old days was like the high end like actors and whatnot. So they wouldn't get profit share or points, I guess. They would just get a bigger chunk of money up front, and then they would make the money to the studios. Then actors started getting smart, saying, well, I'll take less up front and then I'll take points on the back end. But that didn't happen until like the 70s and 80s. They just got paid up front. Yeah, they started doing that. Now, when you do a contract and stuff, it all depends on like when they sign the deal for like Marvel, right? We looked this up months and months, years ago when we talked about this stuff. But like Robert Downey Jr. when he first got paid, he made $500,000 for Iron Man 1, right? $500,000. No points on the back end, nothing. $500,000. I believe that's what he made, right? Let's see. Robert Downey. Yeah, I believe he made, $500,000. The actor was paid $500,000 for the first Iron Man movie. He earned US $10 million for Iron Man 2, and then $70 million for the third movie. In total, the actor made $345.5 million playing Iron Man in various Marvel Cinematic movies. So anytime you sign a deal with a brand like them, they're going to give you way little money, and they'll coach you. They'll be like, not coach you, but they'll try to persuade you. Be like, well, we'll give you $500,000, and if it works out, then we'll give you more money on the back end, or we'll give you money on your next, sequel or whatnot. So, as an actor, you have to look at it and go, okay, and then they typecast you, and then they use your likeness and likeness for like film and backpacks and lunchboxes and whatnot. Yeah, but it's not even about bad reputation or whatnot. So I think Chris Hemsworth also got paid. He didn't have anything. Yeah. So Chris Hemsworth was paid $150,000 for Thor. Comparatively low number considering it's one of the highest grossing movies in 2011 and 2019. His estimated earning was 76.4. So you look at Robert Downey Jr. in Iron Man 1, he got paid $500,000. Chris Hemsworth, $150,000 because he was really unknown at that point. I think Captain, let's see. Chris Evans. Chris Evans got paid $300,000 for Captain America. Did anyone watch the ESPN doc on the old Gladiator show? No. Did they say what they went through and stuff like that, George? They got paid peanuts when the show got popular. They brought all new characters. Yeah, that's how the industry works. Yeah, that's how the industry works. Because when it gets popular, they bring in other people, and they renegotiate their contracts. Like, no, we're going to bring someone else in for less money, right? This happens all the time in the industry, all the time. Look at basketball players, for instance, George, where they first come in, they get paid like the minimum, or baseball players, they get paid like $100,000 or whatnot, the rookie year, and then all of a sudden, like 7 years in, they only made about $50,000, $100,000 a year. But then when they get paid, when they've been in the league for 5-6 years, they give you the money. But then when they can't afford you anymore, they trade you off, or they put you in free agency and stuff like that, right? Your value goes up because you're getting better, but they can't afford you, so they got to get rid of you. They can bring in 5 people for the price that they're paying you. Right. And that's the funny part. So you're taking, you got to look at, people are like, well, they killed him off. They killed off Iron Man. They killed off Chris Evans. Well, to put Robert Downey Jr. in the next Marvel film, okay, your chunk of change that you're going to get paid him now is like $20 million for the film. So obviously they got to kill you off, because They can't afford, especially now because movies are not making as much money. Okay, can you imagine paying Robert Downey Jr. $20 million? That's just for one character. And let's say they did what like DC is struggling with now, where 1/6 of your pay. You know what I mean? Well, not 1/6, but 20 million. If you have a $200 million budget, 10% of your full budget's off going to one person, and then you don't even make your money back. You're screwed. You're screwed. Can you imagine? And then they get lawsuits, right? Scarlett Johansson, she sued for Black Widow because she had money promised to her on the back end. Well, they released it on Disney Plus at the exact same time in theaters, and then it didn't make money. So she lost a shit ton of money. These are the risks you have to take. I don't know whatever happened to that. I think she settled. He didn't get replaced because of money, Tiny. He got replaced because they said he was difficult to work with. They say he was difficult to work with because he is a person that wants to keep. He's like one of us. He wants to make sure that you stick to the lore. The writers weren't sticking to the lore. He was getting upset. He would push back. They said, "We're going opposite direction." So they got rid of him. So that's why he got off the Witcher. It's not because of money issues. This is one of my main reasons when I say I don't want to see the same actor portray other characters in the same universe like Marvel or DC. I don't want a crossover. I want fresh start from actors. There's thousands, millions of people out in the world. You could find a person to play a character, okay? So then you don't. One, what happens is we get at least 3 movies, if not more, because if it's an unknown actor and it does really well, they get paid over a certain period of time. They now sign contracts of multi-picture deals ahead of time because they know if it does well, they don't want to pay out the actors like they did for Robert Downey Jr. Right? Everyone else is thinking, I don't want to see actors because they're good actors. Yeah, but they're good actors, but you have to pay them the money. It's unsustainable. It's unsustainable. If you got to bring Keanu Reeves in to be a superhero, sure, it drives in people to go see the movie, but at the same time, it's like a one and done type of film, right? But if you have an idea of a small film and bring Keanu Reeves in and he's willing to do the movie like a John Wick, right? I don't even know what he got paid for John Wick. Let's see what he got paid. Reported in the media, Keanu Reeves earned a whopping $15 million for assessing the particular character of the recently released flick. So, 15 million on the first one, or on the fourth one. Let's see, what did he get paid? Keanu Reeves had made over $30 million from John Wick total. His first film didn't pay much. Keanu only made around $1 to $2 million for his first installment of the franchise. Right, so he was willing to take a pay cut or whatever because he believed in the project, and that's why it got made. Right, so he'll get money on the back end or whatnot. He made 2 million to 2.5 million for the second movie, right? How about Deadpool 3 next year with Wolverine? Do you think that they would make a big money in the box office for MCU? I don't know. It all depends on what's happening with the rest of the MCU films, Jesse. That's pretty far off, and it's delayed. I don't even think it's coming out next year. The director was a stuntman in Matrix? Really? Let me see. Director, John Wick. Lines advocated for stunt work and Academy Awards. I know some of the stunt guys that were on John Wick. I worked with them on Never Back Down. I don't know this guy though. What movies did he do? Let's see. Stunts, Hunger Games, Blitz, Odds, Tron, Faster, Expandables, Iron Man 2, 300, V for Vendetta, Constantine. Yeah, because I saw some behind the scenes footage of John Wick. I was like, oh, I know those guys. They were on Never Back Down. Even a bad Deadpool 3, because possible outperform the Flash. I mean, the star power. Well, Marvel's on a different level. The shittiest Marvel movies are still making more than the best. Some of the best DC films. Deadpool 3 is still coming out next year, May 3rd, 2024. Is that official? May 3rd, 2024. The schedule will be released in the United States on May 3rd, 2024. It's previously scheduled for September 6th, 2024, and November 8th, 2024 will be part of the Phase 5 of MCU. Deadpool 3 Ryan Reynolds' first foray into Marvel Cinematic Universe has moved from November 8th, 2024 to May 3rd, 2024, a slot formerly occupied by Captain America Brave New World. The latter film has been moved to July 26th of 2024. Well, I hope it stays on schedule. I hope is it done filming? In December 2022, director Sean, who's making the third movie with Ryan Reynolds, The Free Guy, The Adam Project, revealed that the filming should start on or about May 2023, and looks like he was right. If they just started filming, I mean, I don't know. They might be delayed. It says Deadpool 3 begins filming amidst the ongoing writer's strike. This was of May 24th. Deadpool 3 is in the middle of the Writers Guild America strike, according to Comic Book. Instead of waiting for the conflict to reach its natural conclusion, the writers striking a new deal with the studio. They produced a script they provided. Marvel Studios was decided to go ahead and start working on the third movie in the franchise. Though the production may be short-lived, with the looming threat of the SAG-AFTRA also going on strike at the end of June. Nevertheless, there's consequences for trying to make the sequel, while some of the industry's most respected workers are fighting for being better wages. The James Bond franchise felt the consequences, such as actions. The Quantum Solstice, yeah, that was a shitty. I'll be honest with you. With the writer strike going on, and they're filming in between, and then the Actors Guild is going to go on strike in about a week or so, maybe this week. This movie's not coming out in May, and if it does come out in May, it's rushed. And if it's rushed, probably not going to be that very good. Never Back Down 2008. Yep. The last Ant-Man movie made dun, 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 dun. Ooh, that's not good. 476 million. It might have made a profit. I think it was 200 million. Nope, it didn't make profit. They might make money off the back end with like whatever else, but the movie itself did not make a profit. It lost money. I'm pretty sure it was $200 million budget. Yeah, Never Back Down was a movie I did. That was my last film I did as a production assistant, which I was actually talk about taking advantage of somebody. I was the doing a first, or I was doing second AD work, which is a first assistant director or second assistant director, but I was getting paid as a production assistant because they couldn't afford. So that was my last job before I got into the camera union. Quantum of Snore. That movie was terrible, and that was because of the writer strike. Because of the writer strike. Which I don't get because DC film is better, generally speaking. I mean, I like Zack Snyder's like pitch for the DC. The problem with DC Chapter 8 is they rushed it. They rushed it. They tried to do what Marvel did in less time. They were just trying to as fast as possible, and they couldn't do it. That and what happened to Zack Snyder, his family, when they were filming is another tragedy. But that's another reason that the DC got that hit and they couldn't recover. All right, it's 12:30. I like talking about this stuff. We talked about Diablo 4, the problems. We went over on the Blizzard forums, talked about one person's post, and then give you my thoughts on his post and also my experience with Diablo 4. So if you like that part, that's in the very front. Then we started talking about movies and industry, about what's happening with The Flash and other films. We talked about Mission Impossible, Batman, a whole bunch of other stuff. So that's on the second portion of the show. If you guys like this, please make sure you hit the like button. We're here Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning to about noon Eastern. And then we're back tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern. If we probably play some Diablo tonight because I want to get done with my dungeons. I have 9 left, so maybe I'll finish that out tonight on stream. Other than that, I do appreciate you very much. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, you can hit the subscribe button. It's absolutely free. And if you'd like to go above and beyond that, you can become a member as little as $5. I appreciate it very much. I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a great rest of your day. Peace.